guys. This week we are continuing to read Frederick Douglass's chapter 1 or chapter 3 and 4, sorry. We're still looking at those common themes, motifs, and symbols as you read. And there are questions at the end of the chapter. This week's assignments, the chapter 3 and chapter 4 questions are due Tuesday. Wednesday, you have your pandemic journal. And then Thursday is just finding the messages, looking at those themes, symbols, and motifs, and kind of just recognizing where those are in Douglass. So here you have the written chapter 3 and 4. Here are the audios if you'd like them, the questions, and the discussion. There's only 2 questions for chapter 3, and I think there's only 6 questions for chapter 4. Yeah. So there's only a total of 8 questions for those. So also remember, please, there's the extra credit folder here, and then here is where you're going to submit the pandemic journal for May 20th. So remember the various themes, symbols, and motifs as you're reading. And you can also think about what we were talking about last week, teaching those hard subjects. And Douglass uses ethos, pathos, and logos in order to kind of justify everything that he's telling us, right? So he's using ethos or his credibility by naming names, by giving basically directions to where he is. And he creates pathos, right? Giving us that emotional feeling, that feeling of pity, of fear, of outrage as we read. And a lot of that's going to be through the imagery that he creates, using figurative language. And the final thing, that piece of logos or reasoning, facts. So anytime that he kind of lays out, well, this happened and this happened and this happened, and it seems so matter of fact, but it's really kind of like difficult things that he's describing, that's him using that logos, right? That here are the facts that I'm going to prove to you. So that's what you're looking at as you read. So you can see at the end of the chapter, there are the questions. There's 2 for chapter 3. And again, just the list of the themes. So slavery as an injustice in any society, the dehumanization created by ignorance and deception. So how are the enslaved lied to? How are the enslaved kept ignorant of things in order to keep them oppressed, to keep them non-human or less than human, to take away that humanity that they have? Where instances where it talks about slavery as not only an injustice, but also inhumane. How does the institution of slavery destroy family? I actually don't think you are able to see this sheet, so you can't see what I'm reading out of right now. Sorry, guys. I made that mistake before, and I recorded for like 15 minutes, and then I looked at the video, and there was nothing there. Here they are. All right. So the institution of slavery is systematically destroying family bonds. And we saw that all through the first 2 chapters, right? Between, him being taken away from his mother to where he talks about my master's family. Those are his brothers. Lucretia is his sister. But they aren't, right? Like, just because they have the same blood running through them does not make them family. And that is what the institution of slavery does. Identity and selfhood are important to the characteristics of an individual. And that identity and selfhood is taken away from the slaves. And that's Douglas's point, that they don't have any autonomy. What else do we have? Knowledge and literacy are keys to freedom. The written and spoken word are powerful tools of change. Truth is powerful, and it is inevitable that truth will always find its way to the surface. And this is Douglas's whole point, right? Like, him writing this is his way of telling the truth and showing this is our truth and this is powerful, and you have to look at it and you have to say it, and you can't hide your eyes from it anymore. Friendship and community are vital in society. The spiritual or psychological transformation as powerful experiences. And those are going to be more towards the end of the autobiography, because he's still in kind of the thick of his enslavement at this point. So he hasn't yet had those psychological or spiritual transformations yet. Motifs that we will definitely see: brutal and inconsistent punishment practices. Just right, we've seen it. The brutal is consistently there. Inconsistent means that there's no rule book for this. And if there are no rules, then you don't know how to not break the rules, right? If you're consistent, if nothing you do matters, and there are no rules, then you don't know that you're breaking the rules, and you're getting in trouble for things that you shouldn't be getting in trouble for, and then not getting in trouble when you should be getting in trouble, things like that. The moral depravity among slaveholders. So what this moral depravity means is, like, our morals is the thing that tells us the difference between right and wrong. And depravity means awful, terrible, worse than bad. So he's saying these slaveholders are worse than bad people, right? They are the worst of the worst. They have no consciences. They don't know the difference between right and wrong. Slave traders and owners as predators, thieves, and pirates. They prey, a predator with prey, right? They prey on these individuals, on these enslaved people. They are thieves. They stole entire, generations from different countries. They have stolen Douglas from his mother, or stole his mother from him, so that they no longer have that relationship. And pirates as well, right? Pirates go out onto the sea and they steal what is not theirs. Slaves as livestock. Remember, livestock is animals. How are the slaves treated like animals? The myths and misconceptions about slavery. And we saw this in chapter 2 when he was talking about the slave songs, and how people will say, oh, see, slaves are happy, they're singing. And he's like, no, like, you don't understand. That is not what that means. So this idea of here is the lie that we tell people about slavery, and here's the truth. So how does he go about doing that? The physical and sexual abuse of female slaves. Again, consistently, he talks about this throughout the whole book. And we've seen it already. And he uses a lot of imagery, a lot of pathos to show us this. City life versus rural life. And we're not going to see this yet, but Douglas is going to move to Baltimore. So we will see his life in Baltimore versus his city, or his life on the plantation. The testing of one's faith. So, when Christians used the Bible in order to justify slavery, that really hurt the enslaved, and it hurt their faith. And why would God do that, right? Why would God enslave us? What have we done that we need to be punished for? So the testing of one faith happens a lot. And then any biblical references or allusions, and we saw that with the allusion to Ham in chapter 1. So those are, you're going to take one of them. And then just find some places where you see these themes or motifs, really being explored in chapters 3 and 4. And just write 3, maybe 4 sentences. That's it. I'll show you Whitman. Oh, wait. You see him? He hates the camera. All right. I love you guys. If you need anything, please let me know. Sign up for office hours, text or remind. If you can't make those office hours, I can meet up with you at a different time. All right. I love you forever. Bye.